Ellen?
I didn't have any time to go outside. I literally just hung up with Michael.
Oh, we are live. And Haggis is on. Tiggy says hi.
Hi, Tiki. I had this. I love Tiki. We need to make Tiki our mascot. Like seriously,
Right?
because Tiki knows and Tiki has really good sense, and Tiki's so smart. So that's just my 2 cents.
I've been doing OBS, streaming on OBS. And this time, because I have you on and I don't know how to do that on OBS, we're back on StreamYard. So I got to
Okay.
remember all the right buttons to hit. So
I don't even know
hopefully,
what OBS is. Like, see, you're way ahead of me.
it's just a different streaming software.
Ah, okay.
Yep, Tiggy does have the best senses.
Tiki needs to be our mascot.
We need a picture of Tiggy. I
We
should
do.
change my picture on my YouTube, and I don't know why it's showing. Oh, it does show this on here. On my StreamYard, it still shows my dogs.
Oh wow. Yeah, I
Strange.
like the new one.
I do too. Cricket Cinema made those,
Good
and he
stuff.
did a fabulous job. Definitely did a fabulous job.
Absolutely. I know. I love all the talent that everybody has. They're the best
I,
detectives. They're the best. They're like so much. They're just so talented.
oh, I know. There's I was watching a stream from earlier of the Daniel Mustard's homeless songs. Jamie Mustard's younger brother, and I always play his in the morning. Morning, hi Cajun Juju,
Hi,
Mona
Cajun
and Mona.
Juju.
How about Mona and Audit? Oh, there we go. Oh, that would be kind of cool, Haggis, to turn your picture of your dog into postage stamps.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you see the chat at all, Audit?
I cannot.
Okay. Well,
Oh, wait,
when
let me look here. Oh, maybe. Wait. Maybe I do. Oh, join the chat. It says I can join. Connect. Oh, okay. I can connect my YouTube. Oh, here we go. Maybe we found out how to do it.
there you go.
Maybe we figured it out. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm the non-techie one. Like these are the.
That's okay. Take your time.
Okay, I don't think it's doing it, but I don't know.
We know what you meant, Juju. We know what you meant, Cajun Juju.
Okay, it's not. It says connected to YouTube, but I don't think it is. So I think I can follow the chat. I don't know if it's going to let me actually participate. Hey guys, maybe because I'm on the phone. Yeah.
Maybe I'm not used to streaming off from my phone, so
Yeah. So I don't know.
you're good at the phone. I'm good at the computer. There we go.
Yeah. Well, my one computer took a kaput, and the other one's just not. It's just so I do everything by phone, editing everything, film all of it.
Yeah, that just amazes me. I don't know how you do it. So I was watching Daniel Mustard, one of his "My Friend the Enemy" or something like that. It was a post that he did back when Aaron and everybody started arguing. And anyways, it was funny. He called. He goes, you know, I think we're just a big community of misfit toys. I thought, that kind of fits, doesn't it?
It
We're just a big
does.
community of misfit toys.
But no, but we
Hey,
have the
Minnie.
best. They're the smartest. I love our community, our chat, and like just they blow me away sometimes. Like
Yeah, oh,
a
me
lot of
too,
times.
definitely. Hi from a poet, Brian, and LI, New York, Long Island, New York, Mini Minion. And
And I'm
Cricket
getting.
Cinema, we were just talking about you. Your ears were burning. So it
Oh,
was
happy
funny.
Veterans Day! Thank you for your service. Oh,
Yes,
look at the
happy Veterans Day. Hi, Tandra.
Tandra's here. Good. Well, Tandra's gonna get in. She's gonna be heading out the. How they No, I haven't seen that. I haven't really been on yet. But Tandra's gonna help us with getting the Christmas parade thing in line, or I don't know. She's gonna right, Tandra. You heading that up?
Oh, good.
Yes. So we need to get her. Yeah, she's going to be the, I guess, the go-to at figuring out this winter. What, this. I'm excited because I've never been to that parade ever, and I
Oh,
don't like, I don't like going with. It's hard, when you're in a chair. It's a toe crusher. It's like that chair and crowds. Not the best thing all the time. So I've never been to it, but I have to now. I got to see. I
yeah,
got to
being
see
in a
all
chair, I
this.
completely understand that. I think we've talked about being butt level a few times now. And when everybody is surrounded you and you're in a group, um a large group, and all you can't see above heads or anything, you get lost, you get
Yes, that's scary. And I've done it numerous times
overwhelmed.
on Hollywood Boulevard, because they'll have like a premiere or something, and I get caught in it going somewhere, and oh man, so yeah. But we
Yeah,
have
I
to we
don't.
have to deal with this Christmas thing because and then for next year we need to get started like the day after the parade to start working on next year.
Oh, I'm sure.
So
I'm
when we're
sure
talking
that
about
they
thinking
do.
outside the box. Right,
Right,
they do.
yeah,
I'm sure they do. But that's why, yeah, I think that's one of the, if you don't mind, like one of the topics maybe we can consider for thinking outside the box is how do we
absolutely.
unsafe point, how do we bring Christmas back to, Hollywood, you know what I mean, instead of making it a Scientology affair.
It is. Well, we could just start off that way. um
Okay.
in our land of misfit toys. I
Thank your dad
do.
for his service, Cricket.
Really, thank you. And my dad was in the service. My brother, my sister, my brother-in-law,
Oh,
sister-in-law. We have a service, Air Force and Army. It was really popular.
wow. Well,
So,
God bless all of our vets. I appreciate every last one of them.
yep, we owe our safety. Definitely owe our safety in in our country to our vets.
Yep.
So I did an outside the box quite a few months ago with John Poe. And we talked about a lot of these things, but things have changed. And so I added a few things, but I also wanted to talk about some of the old out of the box things.
Sure.
The parade being one of them. So let's start off with that. I mean, let's look at items and events that typically Scientology gets their teeth into and their tentacles into, and starts safe pointing ahead of time. And I'll let you take it from there on the.
Well, for years, and and oh, hi, Kirby's mom. And since Tandra's here, I thought it would be the perfect time to talk about it because she's like, I'm willing to step up. I'm willing to work because everyone's finding their place. They're finding their niche. If this is Tandra's niche, I'm like, let's get her up and running with it, and just be all the support we can have. Because right, they're using L. Ron Hubbard Theater as their staging point. They are the official, like, officially recognized green room for the entire parade. And they also, I think, provide the photographers. I'm sure they do a lot. So there's not only safe pointing, there's probably something else going on, given, trying to do a recruitment effort.
I'm
And
sure
so
lots
I
of
love that Chandra
in-kind
wants to help.
donation, right?
Yeah.
So what is the auditorium? What is the theater? Where is that?
That, I'm not Tanja, do you know exactly the address? I think I'm not sure if it's the one that's right kind of near Wilcox. Because it's all down the Hollywood Boulevard, so it would make sense that that would be kind of at the further end, like where their museum is. So I don't know for sure yet. I have to, look into it more. Tandra, if you could tell me. But I know that's their staging. And so they're going to be staging, and it's a lot of people. Like, don't forget, it's not just, yeah, they have the celebrities, the mayor, all these different people, but they also just have the public. Anyone can join in the parade. Like, I had a friend that used to do it every year with his classic cars, and then he would he had, like, and would drive people, down the parade route, and there's floats, and so they're very much in the mix of it. And and I'm sure that the Chamber of Commerce is, I'm sure the bids, I'm sure all of them is very, there's a lot of different entities involved. And what comes to mind is that Jeff Z, Mr. Yellow Shirt, because he's Mr.
Right? Yeah.
Hollywood, Walk of Fame, himself. And he's very, obviously very embedded in some level, uh, it seems, allegedly, with Scientology. He claims he's not a Scientology, but I remember, I swear, I saw something where he was invited to one of their, God bless you, one of their,
Thank you.
award, the high, the high, they recruiting donations type of thing, because he's a man of wealth. So I have a feeling he would know a lot. But it's a tricky situation because he owns the hotel where their neighborhood council meets, and I'm the type of person, I never want to harm a neighborhood council. I want, I would love to get him voted out. I would love to do a, where we get enough people running and we, we outvote
Right.
him or something. But
Right.
you know, and I think that, so that we just need to figure out the players. So if anyone wants to help Tandra, Tandra, I don't know, how we can do it, but let's help Tandra figure out. Like, I think the first important thing is to figure out who's who the players are, like who runs this event. Are there
Is there a
meetings?
committee?
Is there a committee? Do they have meetings? And let's just get involved. Starting, like, it's too late for this year to really do too much, but probably protest. But that come January, they're going to start that early, because when you're dealing with that. And so it's something that they plan all year long, and we need to get involved, and we can all plug in. But yeah, Tandra, she's going to be point, because we're so busy. We have so much. She volunteered for it, right, Tandra? Like, let me make sure you're still volunteering for this. But
Right.
yeah, but let's help her out. We figure out, and maybe she could do like an organizational chart for us, so we can have I'm very visual. That helps me a lot, and figure out who is behind it. So it's going to take our research and stuff.
Just December 1st is when it is?
Yes,
Is
it's
that
December
the
1st.
Christmas Day parade or the winter?
Yes. It's
Okay.
the Christmas parade well, not Christmas Day parade. It's like the holiday parade that they do in Hollywood.
That's awfully
Santa
early
comes out.
for December
Yeah.
1st is awfully
Well,
early.
it kind of says they do it right after, they always do it, I think, right after Thanksgiving, because I think it starts the toy drives. It's kind of like, Santa comes. It just starts the whole season in
Okay.
force for everything. And mind you, too, another thing I want to add to this, because it's the same area, is I had that little chat with Slow White, Senior
Right?
Lead Officer White, and he said, I asked him, I said, "Are you guys, with this Christmas events, are you going to be dealing with Scientology?" Because he said, "No, it's not worth it." He goes, "But at the same time, you guys are asking us not to be dealing with them with the, the toy drives and stuff. But there's like, can you help us hook up with other 501c3s so we can still help the kids? Can you help us?" And I think that's a fair, we are asking them to disengage, so it is
Right.
fair. So if we can help, and show that we care about the kids, we care about our community, we don't want the children to be without. We just don't want it coming from Scientology, because they're going to recruit their families and put them in slave labor and, abuse,
Exactly.
and whatever. So if we can,
It
that's
just
another
deems
thing we
them
can
in a
do.
good light, and we don't want them to be in a good light. We want them to not have that added benefit or the benevolence look.
Exactly, because they're not. I mean, they do this like it's smoke and mirrors. Oh, here we're so good here. We do all this, but yeah, just don't, be quiet about the human trafficking part. But
Right?
yes, you see, Tandra's gonna. So we need to. We need to. Tandra, like I know she doesn't stream, but maybe in community pages or Tandra, where we could share it, like whatever you find out or something. We need to be able to get this out to people, this information out, however you want to do it, or if you want to email it, and we can share it on our
Abs-
platforms.
Absolutely. That's what I
And
was thinking too. Yeah, we could put it on our community pages. Mine isn't that large, but we can get it out to where
it
the
all
bigger
goes.
channels.
Yes, and it
Yeah.
all adds up, like it all, like mine's a small channel too. It just it all, but as we put it out and more people share it, and then you always get the people who make a video, like there's a few good, like really good channels. They'll make like a little video of this stuff and put it out. But yeah, so we need to figure out Christmas for the kids, since and then we need to figure out this parade. So I don't know
Yep.
who wants to take over the Christmas with the kids thing. I asked Streets, but he says like his groups, like with he goes, it might be a little bit too much, like not right for the ones that he and deals with, because they're kind of like a police accountability, and then, so I don't know if they would be willing. Maybe they will. I don't know. So I put that feeler out for him, and then I'm putting out feelers with anyone else that knows any 501c3s around here
And
that
it
would
may
help.
be a little bit too late, being middle of November, to make a change for this year, but we can always hand out flyers during the Christmas event and hand out information, hand out stickers to the kids, maybe like make little sticker packets or something for the kids.
True. You know
And
what? That's
and
true.
then next year find somebody to put it on their agenda for the whole year.
Absolutely. And maybe this year too, maybe we could put out like, maybe I'm going to, I'll ask Slow White, can we set up where, if we ask people to maybe send or ship, toys to the station, maybe people would like an Amazon wish list or something, maybe, you know,
That's a great idea.
yeah, and just have them as the recipient, and just put a bunch of toys, like, if somebody wants to maybe make a wish list, send it, that would be the recipient with their address, and just all the toys that we could just get that word out too. So we're at least trying to help out for this year for these kids, because I am happy that he's trying to dissociate with Scientology. So that's actually good. So we want to help support them, and we want the
Yeah,
kids to have their Christmas. So hopefully we'll
drop
figure out a
drop
way to make it
shipping
work
at
out.
its finest. Wow. Yeah, I didn't even think
Yeah.
of that, but yeah, that's an amazing idea.
Hey,
I like
Ganja.
that idea.
Yeah, and so I want to talk to him about that because I'm trying to work with him. If he's willing to take a step, I'm willing to take a step. He knows, like that's what I want. Like if they're starting to correct their behavior, then I'm going to work with you. So maybe
Right.
he'll, be willing to. Yeah, he doesn't want the nightmare anymore. I know that.
Well, a lot of them don't. They don't want to have the affiliation. They don't want to have the recognition of being near them. Yeah, it's starting to become tainted, which is nice. That's
It
what we've
is.
been trying. That's what we've been doing, and I think that that part of the plan is
I do
working
too.
well.
Okay, so wait, so yeah, Tandra, they donate millions in toys. See, that's how they do it. Like that's how they flush. That's how they, they don't give like donations to where they give all these toys, and that's see, of course, if they give millions of dollars in toys, don't they look like the best partner in the world? And I'm so sick of it. Like that's how they do it, and we don't have anything comparable, but we can still make an effort, and try.
Yeah. Sue, when we get down to that section, I'd love to have you talk a little bit more. Hi, Claudette. How are you doing? Um, so that's one thing outside the box
Hmm.
is definitely safe pointing the safe pointing spots.
I
Um,
always say we're unsafe. We're unsafing their safe pointing.
exactly right. Taking their tentacles and hacking them off the
Yes,
occupants.
like absolutely.
So the FBI claims for the Never Games, the Fair Game, and the Survivors. We've kind of been through that one. I just wanted to mention that I do have a link to that document in my community tab and on one of my previous posts, and I will re-put that in the description after we're done.
Good. Because yeah,
So
can you put it also in a way where we can all just share it again?
absolutely,
Because yeah, now there's like more safe point. I know I've been going through it, so I would like to put in another claim, but I'm just like like to make it easier, and then everyone else say, hey, if you're going through
sure,
it,
sure, I
thank you.
definitely will do that. So here's one of the things that I was looking through the last time, and I didn't see it quite the same. But petitions for the neighbors, especially around the blue building, about the noise. Do you know that you have convicted felons targeting your neighborhood? Do you know all the noise complaints? Do you like the streets? If somebody, we've asked this, I think, a couple of times, could take up that cause of writing a petition with all the lines, just all you'd have to do is really one form, and then we need to get copies to DOA and Tory and whoever is around the blue building, that Kelly, that they could get signatures for the neighbors.
Yes. I was talking about this too because I did ask because Leia. Well, if Sue has the templates, that's great because we did. I did ask if Leia would be willing. I think she is willing to help print that out.
Sure,
And then Tori's right there. She talks to the neighbors all the time, and if somebody could go around because I know now they are required to reach out more to the community. And we have to make sure that they're doing it because I'm not down there a whole lot, like posting all their they had to do it within like a 2 block radius all the way around, and if not, they're in violation. So we need to keep
And,
calling them on their
and that could be
violation.
one of the petition questions. Are you getting notification of the street closures?
There
I
you
mean,
go.
so that's an outside the box way that we've thought of before that nobody's really taken up, that it would be very appreciative if somebody could take that on themselves to do that,
Yeah,
to
because a
just
lot of people have
make it
mentioned
happen.
that, like, why don't you just get the people's, the petitions? And I'm like, I just don't have any time, enough time, or I can't go up and downstairs. I can't do that stuff right now. But if
Right.
we could get somebody to do that in a local level, and like you said, Tori's there, and she's already making, like, she's friendly with everybody coming back and forth. People like her. She's, and she could easily, and then and DOA too could easily go, like, if he's willing. Like, I'm not trying to add more work to
Right.
him,
Yeah. Right.
but if we could get somebody who would be willing to just go knocking on doors, or because that's what we need. Like, if we get the city to realize that the neighbors are sick of it,
Yeah.
that besides their little bubble of L. Ron Hubbard Way, since they own all of that, but everyone around it, if they could get,
Yep.
that would go a long way, I think, because things are already changing.
Yeah, they are changing, and it's probably a good time again to start doing some petitions. Um,
Hmm.
so the next thing is a pedo website registry. There is a national sex offender registry. California has a sex offender registry.
Yes.
Now, I was looking it up today, and funny, L. Ron Hubbard, roll eyes, insert roll eyes here. L. Ron Hubbard Way doesn't have any sex offenders on its road. Go figure. I'm sure
Of
they
course.
paid
Yeah.
somebody off, so that's not there. But there's 57 sex offenders within a 1 mile radius of 4810 Sunset.
I believe it.
That's a lot. And one of them is in the Berenda Street, where the parking garage is,
Yes.
the
Yeah,
back
that
of
little
the park
street is Barendo. Yeah.
in Fountain. Right
Hmm.
behind that is a pedophile. It lives right there in that building.
Wow.
So I don't know whether he is, associated with them. I would assume not, because they don't send people to jail, or they don't complain to the cops anyways. So I'm sure they don't have sex offenders roll eyes again in the cult of
Right.
Scientology. But still, somebody could, look up the registered sex offenders in the area. Are they related to Scientology? And that's all public knowledge. Where they live and where they work is all on the public knowledge.
True. And
So,
I see Sue too. Like, Sue, that's a great idea. She's making a map. Sue, I mean, Sue, I have to sing the praises of Sue right now because she does such great work. But she's doing a map around the 2 blocks. That would help so much. And Sue, can I ask you if you're willing? Yes, the building, like, who owns the properties? Okay, you already did. She's already stepped ahead. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to ask, but that's what I want to know too, because they hide behind that building management services name. It does, they don't put
right,
Scientology. So yeah,
right.
if we could get 2 blocks all the way around, that would be great.
Sue, that would be awesome. And we're
Thank you.
talking blue because that happens to be, but this could be around the Delphi schools. It could be around Salt Lake City, or it could be, these are steps that people could take around their own
Mhm.
areas.
Yeah, it's setting like a template, like what we're doing, like everything. That's why, I was telling talk when we talked with Henry yesterday. Like, everything's becoming a blueprint because we're kind of learning as we go. We're figuring it out. We're doing it, but then that becomes a
Right.
template for others. And so, yeah, Sue doing that, and I know, and I got another CPRA back, and man, she's like on it. She's on their case with keeping them, a bug in their ear about all these permits, and I appreciate that too. That's also what it takes. It's just, and I
Nice.
know, yeah, we're not, there's other people too. They are just pounding the message to these people, and that's what they need.
Yeah. Peter, I agree with you that Megan's list is the California list.
Mhm.
And a lot of those people were un or not undocumented, unreported felons that was their last known address. So there's a lot of they're not doing it the way they're supposed to be reporting. So there was a lot of people on that, and transient. There was a lot of transients.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people that don't report too, and there is a lot of transiency though here, and but so, guys, so you found another name? Are you willing to share it yet, or you want to hold wait for a sec? Because if there's another name, like that's another important thing is who they all hide behind. What all names do they hide behind? Because that's really important. Sorry, my dog wants to come up.
That's
You
okay.
know,
Grab your
sorry,
pup.
this is the reality of doing it at home.
Oh, I know. So that's another outside the box area that you can think of. Not only that, what other sex offenders might be in their front groups.
Right.
You know, the next one, the school veto, and like with the Mace Kingsley, the Delphi. I was looking up Delphi in. They have schools all over. They have one in Boston.
What
They
about
have
applied scholastics too?
all the applied scholastics and all of that. Now, most of them are private schools and they don't fall under most state and federal guidelines. It's like they're not under the school board. The Delphi school isn't.
Wow.
But if you can start digging and find where they're taking vouchers or any federal money, that automatically puts them under the federal regulations. And those are things we need to just start looking at. And if nothing else, we're a pain in the ass as we're looking through those things.
Right. And it puts them on notice that, and it's becoming so
Mm-hmm.
big. And it's because, like I said, we have the best detectives. I absolutely love our community and our chats. And so they are just so smart and they're looking, I mean, the things I find that they find is just so amazing. So, yeah, the more we dig, the more we're going to find, connect the dots. I would love to have it where eventually we can put all the dots in one place, so we need somebody who's a real, database person. I know Jeffrey Augustine does his on his, but like if we had something with just what we're doing, just specifically the locations and all the, connect the dots there,
Right.
that would help, and the meeting times, the meeting, everything that's connected.
Right. Well, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to go and talk to the school board, even though it is a private school. They have their tentacles out to the applied scholastics and other areas. At least we'll get that information out. So the school board is the next area.
Yeah, I agree with
I
that. Well, Applied Scholastics, they are all based on L. Ron Hubbard Tech, study
Yep,
tech.
yep,
So whether or not they're privately owned by Scientologists. They have to be because who else is going to apply that study tech? And they also are very involved with chiropractors, and their administration tech. And their school of administration is in down, kind of almost close to Beverly Hills. They have their school of administration, and I want to look more into that too because they're graduating people to help, spread the word of because it's their text too. It's not just their. We're so focused on the Sea Org and all that stuff, but then their cancers, it's really sprawling amongst businesses and chiropractors and doctors and especially dentists, I think, and chiropractors. Those are the two.
right. Yeah, and cancer is a good word for it.
Yeah.
So again, I still think we need to protest the top, Mayor Bass, in front of her office about the new child bride one that Serge and Lara did last week was phenomenal. What a hit that was. What an impression that made um, in front of Mayor Bass's office.
Well, I'm looking. Well, I mean, if someone wants to help me with that, like to look into how do we get a permit? Because you can get a protest permit, I think, on the side of City Hall. Because I've seen numerous, they have protests there. I believe you probably do have to have a process to do it, and there's probably a cost to it. But I said, Serge love, I think they would love the idea because they have the stairs to. It's like a performance. It's like an outdoor theater almost on those
Right.
stairs. And I think that would be so amazing. So I'm definitely willing to look into it. But if anyone wants to help, we take all the help we can get with, because
Absolutely.
this stuff is so time
Somebody to
consuming.
walk in and say, okay, this is how you do it. This is how Serge and Lara would get in front of the mayor's office. And this is what they need to do. Not necessarily pay for anything, but here are the steps. This is what you need to do. And then then let Surgeon Laura take it from there.
Right.
That would be awesome, because doing that legwork ahead of time is so, so important.
Yes. Well, I would like to get a date scheduled. Like, I would like to actually, because I know there'd be people that will help get that, like fund that, or, what I'm sure. And if there is cost involved, I'm sure we could do it. But just to get a date to set to protest on, child, and to be like, how can they say no to that? There
Right.
on right there at City Hall, that would be amazing.
Wouldn't that be a cool float, Amy? Ooh,
Yes, that
the
would be
winter.
amazing. Yeah. I wonder if it's too late. I think it's too late to probably have a float, but I heard, and Tandra, we'll put Tandra to work. Is it too late to enter something? Even like what are the requirements? If there's like sometimes like I said, my friend, he passed away though. He used to do it every year with his old. He had the old school, Jay Leno type vehicles, and but I never was interested. I didn't know anything. I don't know anything about it. So if we could find out, maybe we could get a vehicle going down there and put posters on it or something.
Yeah, Amy says just outside of it so families can see it. It's a good
Yes.
idea. It's a
Yeah, and who
great
can,
idea.
yes. And who can be against, being against child brides? Because here in California, you only need the parents' permission and they can marry underage. And there needs to be, we need to cut off a lot of these loopholes. Like, and that's where we can think outside the box too, is getting active politically in that sense, and,
Right?
demanding or trying to get legislation going for that. If they didn't take the one that we're the one we were Serge Oblinsky one, maybe we could get the child bride one, because it's the time. This is the time we're talking about human trafficking and stuff, and I think it's the perfect time and try to get laws passed.
Oops. As I knock my computer off. Sorry.
No worries. Hey guys.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Hi, YRB.
Yeah, yeah, Jeff.
Name
Yeah, our
tags.
Mini Cooper. That would be awesome. I mean, maybe we could. I don't know. Like I said, Tandra, could you? Sorry, I'm already putting on her. Like, it's her thing. I'm not trying to put you to
Can,
work, Tandra. This is
can you put
your.
it on your to-do list, Tandra?
Yeah, could please, Tandra. Like, how do they get in? Because I'm like, after, like, I have meetings after that. Like, it's just, I'm going to be busy till like
I
midnight after
know.
this. But
So the next subject is the elder abuse. I know we talk about child abuse, we talk about the children, we talk about the Sea Org and the slave labor and all that, but elder abuse is near and dear to a lot of your hearts, and you're always going, but what about this? What about this? This is something that we as a community need to get the information out about the abuse of the elderly for their Medicare, their Social Security disability, their long-term care options, rehab units, and get that message out. Start putting out the bad PR against Scientology and how they're abusing our elders.
yes. And, there is a local law firm that does a lot of pro bono work, and they deal with elder abuse. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if it's a good idea to put them on blast right now, but I think maybe I could make a little phone call to them and see if they'd be willing to. And if not, then like maybe we could put them on blast and say, if everyone would say, "Hey, look, we need you to take this on. We need somebody to have the courage to do it." Maybe they will, because there are
Yeah.
different agencies that help with different things like that.
It just, the more information that we give, the more presentations we give, the more the word gets out. And it just sticks in the back of somebody's mind, and knowing that they're going to try to be safe pointed. Bring up a good topic about the new elected DA. I mean, he is definitely on the list. I've got it in a little bit. What about
Yes.
labor boards, the Workforce Investment Board notification, education, like your um, unions and union notifications about how Scientology is skating around those labor laws and union laws and certified payroll. I mean, in order to work on the road, you have to be you have to be paid the correct wages. I mean, we're not getting $47 a week to do those roads.
Mm-mm.
And I know YRB harps on this a lot, and she does an incredible job with it.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's true. Maybe it's time to bring in the unions and not necessarily have them fight for us, but give them the information that they need to fight for themselves.
I talked to a few of them at one of the protests. There was a union protest, and I do that too when I'm at City Hall and I come across union leaders. And also, don't forget the new commissioner for Public Works, John Grant, was a union president, so I know he's listening because you have to talk to the unions. I agree,
Right.
and then yeah, and oh, and thank you, Tandra. She says she has her list ready. Thank you.
Yeah, and Peter, yes, Los Angeles does have a living wage requirement, but they skirt around it because they're not receiving a wage, they're not receiving a paycheck, they're receiving a stipend. And a stipend is for their living expenses only. That's it. So they call it different because they can get around that for their uh, volunteer ministers. So
But we did have a
unfortunately,
victory. No, I'm sorry. No, there was a victory. It wasn't us. This happened a few years ago, and it happened at their studios. Okay, because they were using Sea Org members $47 a week to do the films. You know, to be the actors, actresses, all these things within the films. And I don't know who. That's another thing we need to research. That's a rabbit hole. Ganja, I know you like to go down rabbit holes. Are you here still? Do you want to go down this rabbit hole?
I asked
Um,
Mitch Brisker about it, and he said he didn't remember.
They
So I
got
don't
the
know
no,
really
they
know.
have to pay them full wage now. They can
Yeah,
no longer when it comes to them doing, they have to pay the same wages. So the people who are Sea Org that are doing their movies, what their videos, whatever it is, they are being paid. They are forced to pay them the right correct, I think, scale. They have to pay the correct
right.
scale, probably non-union wages, but still up scale.
And
And
I
so
do
that's a
think
huge
it was
win.
convenient that Mitch didn't remember it when I asked him. But
Yeah.
you
But we need to find out
know,
who did, like, who headed that charge and what did they do? Like, we don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel. If we can
right,
figure out what they did, who they went to, how they did it, it's the same thing for the streets. It
right,
might be different agencies, but kind of like if they set up the blueprint, or if we can even get in touch with them and saying, because there's obviously somebody that's fighting for the Scientologists to get their due
yeah.
pay. And that's what we're doing. Like I'm sickened by people vacuuming and polishing bricks. To me, it's like as a punishment. They're trying to humiliate them.
Oh, I'm
You
sure.
know.
YRB, that's a good point. It probably was the Screen Actors Guild. In YRB, I know you were like incredibly busy, so maybe somebody else could take on that chore,
Yeah, but I
that
know
task.
they now have to pay the full rate, and so we need to just replicate that for working on the streets, because this has got to stop. Like they have got to stop if they're going to use their people, because once they are working on the street, that's no longer working as a religious experience or working as a monk or
No, it's
whatever
not.
that it's
You're
not.
working on a public road, right? Public
Right.
roadways. So then, and I'm kind of going, I'm not going too fast, you guys, but I'm kind of stepping through here because I don't want to respect everybody's time. Healthcare and insurance boards. Let me give you a little story. I happen to be on a board of an insurance company. I've been on there for 25 years. And through my connections, I found I had been talking at one of our board meetings, and they went, "Really? We just paid these people, and we're having a hard time with them from California. It's a drug rehab center, and we didn't know that it was not legit." And they ended up suing them. They're suing them for over $100,000 for just two people, and they can't go back any further than that. But so there's quite that. If you could get information out to the healthcare, your insurance boards, insurance companies, when they have their yearly meetings, they have public comment sessions to the networks, the like first choice networks that pay those. It's not going to, you're probably not going to come across somebody that's going to sue for 100 grand, but it's going to get the word out there. So that's just thinking outside the box.
Absolutely. That's what we need to do. But also along those lines, I do have I do know for a fact that Scientology, the security, has an alliance with all the surrounding hospitals with their security. So it's all hospitals and then Scientology. So why are they a part of that picture, you know? So that's another thing maybe we can maybe look into with these hospitals and asking them why are they aligned with Scientology and try to work our way in that way. And you know what I mean? Because I don't, they're having all this influence on everything around them.
Right. Yep. It's another unsafing the safe point.
Hmm.
So the front groups like PTS for Life was digging into all the different front groups and just looking, having somebody make a list of those. I know we've talked a little bit already in the chat about it would be great to have a list. It would be great to have a list. If you could somebody could start throwing them on a spreadsheet. We can arrange it all later. But if somebody could just start putting everything that we know as a front group together, that would be incredible information to have.
And I did like a little videos a long time ago on a bunch of them, and I do have I had to dig into. I need a secretary. I'm so unorganized. So I had to try to figure out where I put it, probably on my my Google Drive or whatever. But I had to look into it because I did have a big list because I was going through the list to look them up and see what's current, and I made little videos about them. So there are a lot of videos on my TikTok and YouTube regarding a bunch of the bigger front groups, and then of course we have the one where the cult was it I forget the acronym, but they purchased it. It's supposed to be Cult Awareness Network, I think it is, and
Right,
they purchased it. Like, can you imagine the biggest one of the biggest cults purchased it? So now they're going to clean up all that, and
right,
it's that needs to be exposed. That needs to be demolished, that organization, because it's such a it's ridiculous.
right, exactly. So then protesting the governors, the senators, the
Mhm.
congressional offices, the DA office, getting into those spots to start safe pointing for ourselves and getting the
Yes.
word out and getting them to understand. One of the biggest things that we learned again and again and again was last week how LAPD dismissed Serge as being an interpreter for those girls and not understanding that even though they speak English, it's not the same language. You need an interpreter when you're dealing with Scientology, especially Scientology kids, is that we need to get this information out to the organizations that they're not talking the same language.
Very true. And right now, now's a really good time to get really active wherever you are in LA, because our whole a lot of it's changing. Because look at it, we got a new DA, very different from the current one. We have a new police chief. We have four new public works commissioners. We have two new city council people.
Right?
So that's a lot of change and a lot of being able to try to with new ears, fresh ears. And now also another thing we need to push for is that with the public works, we have we now have a now seated, new public works commission, but the actual public works board or what agency, whatever, does not have a head. So it's very discombobulated right now, because I'm like, well, who's in charge? And it's just there's no real head in it. They
Right.
don't have it filled. They don't have, as far as I can tell, the ADA point person filled either. So there's a lot of jobs that need filling, and we need to put the pressure on the mayor, because I think that's a lot of problems. It's like there's too many workers and not enough there's no one at the top, so to speak. So that's probably why the commission doesn't know where to go, because there's no one really running it, and we can put that pressure for her
Well,
to
it is,
appoint
and
somebody to
it's
hire
so it's
somebody.
time to step in, and if we need to guide, we can guide. If they don't have a head, then there's nothing wrong with stepping in and taking the lead sometimes.
Yes, and
That's
that's something we can all
sometimes
do,
what
because
you
we
got to
can all
do.
write letters.
Yep. So the next one, Henry started with the lawyers, but we also have the judge claims that we can put in, and you can do that anywhere. But in LA, you have the uh, board of law. You know what I'm talking about. The one
Yeah, the
that
one.
Henry's. bar,
The bar association, yeah, that's
the bar
state level, but we also
association.
have county and city level bars, so we're just
Yeah,
hitting the state bars. We should really be hitting the local bars. And that sounds bad. That doesn't sound right.
I'm ready for local bars.
We're gonna hit up the local bars, guys. But yeah, so
I'll
we have,
forewarn you though, tequila makes my pants fall off, so we can't do that.
no, no, I can't even.
No tequila.
I have to get some iced tea or something, but that's fine, and so we need to be hitting that up. I like that we were hitting up because we do LAPD pretty hard, but there is the sheriffs as well, especially when it comes to the jails and the courts. That's you're dealing with sheriffs, so we
Yep.
have those boards. There's not a whole lot. I don't know which sheriff's departments might have, because with the sheriffs do the unincorporated areas and places like WeHo, so I don't know how many in their actual area where they patrol as a police, unit would patrol. Like, I don't know how many are in their area. We can either, that'd be another good thing to find out, because how many of these in Los Angeles County, how many of their Scientology properties are not under LAPD jurisdiction, but under sheriff's jurisdiction? That would be a
Exactly.
huge help. And we just
Where
need
what is gold under?
gold is. Am I still on? Sorry, a call came through.
There you
So
go.
I believe that's in Hemet, gold base. I think that's Hemet. So that's not going to be, I don't know if that's going to be Riverside County. That's not LA County, but there's unincorporated parts of the county. I know parts of San Gabriel Valley. I know WeHo. Like, there's a little places. And then there's also going to be places like Burbank. Well, Burbank doesn't, I don't think they have one, but there's towns within the county that are incorporated towns or little cities, but they're not under LAPD, because LAPD is strictly for LA City, which is a huge 400 mile city.
Right.
But there's other city like Long Beach has it's LA County, but I believe Long Beach, I think they have their own police department. And but
So,
I don't
question
know where
for you.
anyone
Do
lives.
they have like a state sheriff's association
I'm sure they do.
or
They do actually. Association of Chiefs, I believe they have.
okay,
Um, yeah, and I think of constitutional chief. I know there's a constitutional sheriff's organization, because see, the sheriffs are very different. They're elected. The actual sheriff's elected, not appointed. And I actually believe that they have enough legal. They could come in. Believe it. They have the power to arrest. I think all the way up to even a governor, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I hear they have a different broad right things that they can do. So I would love to get the sheriffs, especially if they're constitutional, and here these people are breaking our rights. So maybe they would want to listen. So it's just a matter of, yeah, it's not just LAPD and yeah, Riverside County Sheriff. I mean, now we're getting out beyond our LA scope, but if there's people in Riverside County that want to go beyond LA, that'd be great. But I would love to start with LA sheriffs
yeah,
and get them educated.
yeah, and we know. I mean, we have started there at some point, but it would be cool to know. I, I'm just a bum from Alaska, and I know my Alaska stuff, but I don't know California, and I don't know Michigan and Florida and all that. But it'd be cool to find out how sheriffs work compared to that. And
Yeah, well, I know a lot about
yeah,
how they work, but now I need to find out, because I think, don't they have a newer org in Inglewood? Now, Inglewood might fall within sheriff. I'm not sure. I have to look into that, because I don't really know all the areas that are covered by sheriff. But I do have someone I know that's a sheriff's deputy. He might be open to hearing from me about it. So that's what another thing. We have to bring in the sheriff, not just LAPD.
yeah, they do. They have California Highway Patrol.
Yes,
Amy.
yes. The
Do you
yeah,
remember Chip?
Chips. Yeah, that's
Chips.
Ponce.
I'm
Yeah, and I know I met him a couple times. He actually lives not far from me.
aging
But
myself.
yes, Chips. The California Highway Patrol is the state police, and that's another one that, when it comes to trafficking, we should be working on them as well. Like, they wouldn't have the same. They do have some jurisdiction actually outside of the highway, because they're able to go outside. You know what I mean? They have to go around. So there's ways we can
Yeah.
get them involved.
Yeah. Peter Sir Crepitus is a retired sheriff department. And I don't know, and I'm going to just say it. I don't care what anybody else says. Sir Crepitus is a gentleman, and he's a wonderful asset. And you guys can love him or hate him or whatever, but he's a gentleman. And yep, he has been a godsend to me for information. So thank you, Peter, for saying that. He is retired LASD. So, okay, next down, suit about the arbitration for Jane Doe. This is what that the protests that Serge and Laura have been doing for the child bride is. We need to get more information out about this arbitration, um,
Yeah.
this lawsuit that's coming around, and I know enough about it to make me dangerous at this point, but it's definitely something we need to get more information about.
Well, I think I don't know what day, but I want to go and try to get actual printouts of the actual lawsuit and maybe see if I can find other lawsuits that are we can print out and kind of, we can make them into, flyers or whatever and get some of the information out there from the law because it's all public information. It's not I don't believe it. They private. I don't think they have it under wraps. And then, we could see how corrupt they are, including I don't know who their lawyers are. They using Moxon for those cases, or are they going above him because he's so
No,
discredited at this
I
point?
think he's Mangles
Okay.
is the attorney. And they are, I've been looking up some information for Surge, and that law office is an ADR. It's just a regular law office also, but they do alternative dispute resolution. So
Mhm.
they kind of like doing, but Mangle is an attorney that uh, Church of Scientology, Cult of Scientology uses a
See,
lot.
that was my minor in college was alternative dispute. I was really big into alternative dispute resolution. I really like it, but I don't want it where they control it. You can't ask a victim to have to go to their people they're accusing of crime and say you have to adjudicate this. That is so ridiculous that they're even contemplating that. So I think, yeah, I think looking at these cases is really when you see the unfairness of it. And as far as human rights group, I don't know, was that right? Haji's about the human rights group. You just have to be careful because they do have a few front groups that of human rights groups that's theirs. So you have to really scrutinize them. But I did post something out there about I think I posted it on my thing about another human rights group and that's global and about for workers and stuff. So I think we should
Oh,
be
that's
reaching
right.
out. Yeah, I just
Yep.
posted that and we could all be looking into that as well.
Yep. That's a good thing.
Imagine if we even if you put yourself on a schedule to even whether you can do one a day or one a week, whatever, that would add up. If even if you did one, if everyone did even one a month, that's 12 letters times they've got like it would add up. And if everyone just put themselves on a schedule, what you think you can do, okay, today I do, this agency or do this and just pace yourself. And it could be real short. Like I'm getting some of these, CPRAs back, and it's just I'm gonna be posting some about Talman. It's funny, like the things that people say. It's just two sentences, but it gets the point across, and it's hilarious. And it doesn't have to be anything real long.
Right. Yeah. I agree. So the next on the list is the Supreme Court, the religious rights versus constitutional rights. That's what we've kind of called as the macro
Hmm.
and the micro. And on the macro level, um, just maybe having somebody research more of the religious rights versus constitutional rights cases that have come through the Supreme Court. I know one that, and I'm not saying there aren't others, but I'm just saying that the biggest one was the one that was about a, 501c3 matter. And really, that's the only one that I could find. But if somebody wants to take that on as a duty, that would be cool beans.
Yeah, if anyone has access to Pacer, maybe you work for an agency that they have a subscription to Pacer and you can look up these cases, or you're willing to go to a law library and, shepherdize and get cases. Um, I know it's on my list, but then every time it's like I'm so busy doing this other stuff. It's only a certain amount of hours in a day, but
Right.
that would be great if there's somebody that would have a Pacer account. or
So, and
access to a
then the
picture.
corporate rights versus personal rights, that's another one that, and the RICO claims of, I know there's been information tossed around about the different um, calls and the different false calls, different swattings, and all the different states. That putting that together as one big document would be really truly helpful. And I think DOA said that he was working on that, doing his red dots or red
Hmm.
strings or something like that. So that might be already in the works.
Well, like even like a crowdsourced, like legit website. Because like Jeffrey Augustine, he has his website and it's really good. There's a lot of information on there, but that's his. But if we are taking maybe different angles, we're not so much, talking about the different things of science, but more like the I mean, the brass knuckles, whatever that, this point A, point B, this is this address, this is this template. It would be great to have that kind of a website where you can just go in, it's labeled, but that takes people who know what they're doing.
Yeah, right, definitely. And I agree, YRB, the former practice of forced or highly encouraged abortions might grab the ear of the Supreme Court, especially nowadays. That
Yeah, I mean,
might
is
be
it
a good
highly
time for that.
encouraged? Well, it's highly encouraged. They say highly encouraged, but it's either like you do this or you're out, and then where are you going to go? Because you spent all your these years in there and you have nowhere to go, and they're not going to help you go. So to me, that's coercion. It's coerced. I don't think it's highly
Yeah.
suggest. I mean, I agree with you. I know you're being very careful with your words, but like, sorry, I keep slipping. But let's just be honest. Like they leave you no, like they're leaving women with no choice. Let's do this
Exactly.
or you have nothing.
Yeah, me and Taz, I'll put this list on my community page. I'm gonna have to run to a meeting here real quick, but I'll put that on my community page.
And thanks for doing
This list.
this. It's great to be able to sit and chat and because yeah, a lot of people do. They ask, well, what can I do? And I know somebody recently they got the template and they're going out to sending letters out to their Congress people. And
Yep.
especially now we're gonna have a lot of new people there all the way too. I'm sure there's a lot of, new seats on either way. So there's a lot of new people we can talk to.
Yeah, we didn't hit on that, but yeah, there's all the new senators and Congress people, and they're all going to have their own new emails, and it's definitely, you know, those that won. Um, let's keep their feet to the fire and say, you said you would. Let's do it. And
Yeah,
I
all
know
the
I
way up
think
to the top. Let's
SBTV has that list of
Yep.
everybody that said yes. So let's hold their
Yep.
feet to the fire.
Let's see if they're still there. If they still, now we have to see if they're still in their seat. But
Well, there was a whole list of people that were running too on that list.
okay,
So see who won, see what answer they had given, and hold their feet to the fire.
yes. And this is thing
Yep.
is you can send out because we put our emails out there, my emails out there, your emails out there. So if anyone has it, just like reach out and we'll get it
Yeah.
out and pass it out or talk about it. So I appreciate. I know we both appreciate all the hard work. And then YRB, she's been hitting it out the ballpark lately with her letters. She's just been
And
nailing
somebody
it.
somebody else said, note to self, don't ever piss off YRB.
Tell me, yeah, no, no, no.
She's a
I
force,
know
man.
better. She is a force to be reckoned with. She's the
She's
whole
a force.
tornado category 5 when she gets started, and she's gonna bring her documentation and pictures and yeah, no, I've been loving it. I don't always get the, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yep, you got a good point there. Well, I hate to do this to you guys, but I need to scoot. I definitely have another call, but I'll post the list and whatever the other links I said I would. I promise I will. Thank you so much for letting us bend your ear for an hour. Happy Veterans
Thank you
Day.
guys.
Hey,
Yes, and thank
sis.
you for all you do.
All right, you guys.
And thank you, Mona.
Bye. Stay on just for a second, okay?
Okay, yep.